let's get this party started. A little fishy, in you go. A turtle. Not the turtle, Adam. Yep, the turtle too. And what about this? What about this cute little fishy? Sayonara, buddy. We're going to melt you down. And the bracelet. It's actually quite a nice bracelet, but you know what? Today, melt. See you later. And then this little bar of gold from another project. That too. Let's melt all this up. We're going to get our rosebud torch head. Get it flaming super hot and melt this gold. As you can see, this is sped up, so it's taking a little while to melt all this because there's a lot of pieces in here. And my torch tip is not the most efficient for creating tons of heat. But it works. I have this crucible, some flux in there, and the little fishy, and the little turtle, and that bar. So we're almost ready to pour, and there it goes. Gold pours so quickly. When it's ready and you tip that over, it just shoots out into your mold. So we'll open it up, and there we have our bar of stock. And we're going to roll it out in the rolling mill so we can get the right dimensions. And you know what? I forgot to film the rolling mill. Sorry about that. But you know what? I was kind of in a time crunch for this, and I just wanted to get it done. So I filmed some of what I could. This is my favorite part. Look at those blue and green flames. They're awesome. This already went through the rolling mill a couple times, so I'm annealing it so it can be soft and we can roll it out even further. This isn't quite the right dimension. But there it is. Now I have the right dimension, and it just magically looks like this in my hand. And yes, that's 14 karat yellow gold, but it has some fire scale on it from me heating it up and quenching it, but that doesn't matter. It'll come off as we sand and polish and all those things. So we're cutting this to length, and I think it needed to be a 9 3/4 size. Now we're forming it. We're forming it into a ring with my handy dandy ring bending tool. So there's that. Next, there's this on the seam. We want it to fit super tight. So what I did is ran my saw blade through this with tension on it 3 different times until there was no space in between that I could see light. That's when you know you're going to make a good seam when you go to solder. If you can't see any light through there and everything's lined up nicely. So let's use some mild quail egg juice and dip our ring in there because, you know, every good jeweler has mild quail egg juice to dip their rings in and light them on fire. Yep, every time. Anyway, a little flux, FLUX. We're going to put that on there. That will allow our solder to flow into the seam right where we want it. We're going to use some yellow gold hard solder and put our torch underneath because the solder will flow to the heat. So we want to pull it through the seam and make sure it's a nice and tight one. So there it is. And next, into the pickle pot. Now this was a super hot ring, and I put it in there, and it sprayed my pickle juice everywhere. Give it a swoosh, then go back to the bench. Round this baby out because, man, a ring can't be misshapen. It has to be perfectly round. So, of course, we do that. Clean up the inside with our cylinder burr, and then, you know, the finishing process I've shown in other videos over and over again. This one I filed the sides. It was a bit too wide, and when I rolled it out, it just got a little too wide. So I'm flattening both sides with a pretty aggressive file. Now we're going to put a comfort fit on it and then start the sanding process. So now, basically what you're going to see me do is just take various grits of sandpaper over and over again, lighter and lighter grits, to remove the previous grits scratch marks until you come to a mirror finish final polish. But it takes a while. You have to do the inside, the comfort fit, both sides of the ring, and the top outside of the ring. And once you are close to finished, you have to stamp the ring. So we're stamping it with 14 karat because that's what this is made of. So once you put the 14 karat stamp in there, it's official. This ring is made of 14 karat gold. And then let's go and sand some more because that's basically all I do at my bench these days, it feels like, is sand. I forgot to film the polishing, but here's the final ring. He picked it up, loved it. It was a quick job today, and it turned out great.